If there is ever an opportunity to unite this country after a tragedy, Donald Trump will always use it to divide us. The petty little baby who has spent months complaining about how dangerous Democratic rhetoric is. Oh, us pointing out the fact that the guy who says he wants to be a dictator wants to be a dictator. Oh, so dangerous. Spent all last night inflaming tensions and directing hate after two National Guardsmen lost their lives, but all Donald Trump could focus on is the blame game, is the disgusting, vile, racist rhetoric, and it is blown up in his face, which is why Carolyn Leavitt and the White House are now melting down. We are going to get into the lie that Trump was caught in and why Leavitt is melting down, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into Carolyn Leavitt's meltdown of a response to Donald Trump getting caught in a lie, we got to start with the full context of what happened yesterday and how Donald Trump is racistly reacting.
Now, in response to today's attack, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth announced that President Trump has ordered another 500 Guard members into D.C.
This happened just steps away from the White House. It will not stand. And that's why President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army to the National Guard, to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C. This will only stiffen our resolve to ensure that we make Washington, D.C. safe and beautiful.
Now, those 500 new National Guard members would come on top of the already 2,188 Guard members already assigned to D.C. The FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force is leading the investigation into today's shooting, working to determine if it was an act of terrorism. The Secret Service is also looking into whether the shooter intended to target the White House itself or anyone under the Secret Service's protection. But as of now, there is still a lot we don't know. The investigation is really just beginning.
It is impossible to take this administration seriously in responding to or pretending like they care about a tragedy when they have demonstrated again and again just their level of blatant incompetence and how they are so ill prepared to deal with anything. Kash Patel yesterday said that he would be tracking down this alleged assailant while he was already in custody, and this is the same guy who has moved, I can't even count how many FBI agents away from their posts to go help ICE thugs or to help Donald Trump cover up the Epstein files. So I just don't buy into it when these guys pretend like they care, because if they did, they would do their fucking jobs. And if they did care, they would respond with compassion instead of the hate that Trump was spewing last night. A lie, by the way, as always.
We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country. If they can't love our country, we don't want them. America will never bend and never yield in the face of terror. And at the same time, we will not be deterred from the mission these service members were so nobly fulfilling.
It was reported right after Donald Trump's speech that Trump approved National Guard shooting suspect's asylum. Law enforcement sources say that the suspect in an ambush near the White House was granted asylum in April. So no, you can't just blame Biden and blame Biden and blame Biden. It is just such ridiculousness. And of course, the right is already saying that Democrats were hoping something like this would happen, that we're encouraging it, that we have to stop calling them fascist. You know what Laura Loomer's response to yesterday was? The crazy right-wing conspiracy nut, the just disgusting Botox. I don't even know if it's Botox at this point. She's a freak who spends all her time alongside Donald Trump. Do you know what her response was? She said on Twitter, "Yeah, I want a king." That is the response that these people have. They say, don't call us a fascist, but we want a king. We want Donald Trump to be a dictator. It's insane. And that rhetoric is dangerous, although they don't want to pretend. They want to pretend like it's not. Carolyn Leavitt wants to pretend like it's not. Well, the White House was having their own meltdown when they were trying to do PR comms yesterday because Donald Trump got caught in his lie. Sick, disgusting ghoul. White House account unleashes on reporter after troops shot. An official account associated with the White House called a reporter stupid and a sick, disgusting ghoul for questioning Donald Trump's National Guard takeover of Washington, D.C. following the incident in which 2 National Guard troops were shot. This is so tragic, so unnecessary. These poor guardsmen should never have been deployed, wrote Jane Mayer of The New Yorker on X in response to the news. I live in D.C. and watched as they had virtually nothing to do but pick up trash. It was for political show, and what a cost. Rapid Response 47, a public relations account for the Trump administration, hit back in a fury. "You sick, disgusting ghoul," said the account. "Two of these heroes were just shot in broad daylight. The Guard has saved countless lives, backed up by evidence, which you've clearly too stupid to notice. They are American patriots." The two troops who were shot were initially reported as deceased, but this was later walked back, with sources saying they are alive but in critical condition. Details are still emerging about the arrested suspect, a 29-year-old Afghan named. However, some Republicans have already leapt on a political attack message, with Rep. Andy Biggs blaming the attack on a group of 6 military veteran Democrats who released a video reminding troops they have a duty to refuse unlawful orders. It's always, I don't want to say it's funny to me, but it's just so gross to watch Republicans as Democrats try to process a tragedy and try to figure out how to stop it next time, be blamed for politicizing the issue. Because when children are massacred in a school and we say, maybe we need some gun control, they scream, "Oh, it's political, stop making it political." But then they jump at the opportunity to say, well, I think we should just get rid of all trans people, which seems a lot more political to me and disgusting than maybe not wanting kids to get shot by weapons that 18-year-olds shouldn't have access to, that nobody should have access to. Why do you need a weapon of war? And they always want to say it's us, it's us, it's us, it's us. But Donald Trump has spent the past week and some change, threatening those Democratic members of Congress, sending death threats, wanting them hung. And you're telling me that the people who simply said do not follow illegal orders are those to blame? That's the rhetoric you're so scared of? And why are you so upset that they don't want troops to follow illegal orders? Why is that? Why is that something that's so unnerving to you? What do you need those troops to do illegally to protect your dear leader, to help move forward your fracturing coalition? What do you need them to do? It seems like a self-report to me. And so that's why I've just so struggled with this, because you can never take these people seriously, and honestly, I don't want to. It reminds me of the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk shooting, when Kash Patel was pretending like this was his best buddy in the world, but it took him 48 hours to get to Utah. And after the shooting happened, he was like, "Well, I still gotta have my penny alla vodka. Like I'm in an Italian restaurant. Maybe we'll do another bottle of red. Let's get a Pinot going. Just keep it nice and light, though. And then maybe I'll start thinking about Charlie." And then they shoved it down our throats that we had to apologize, had to say sorry. All our fault. Rhetoric, rhetoric, rhetoric. All for Donald Trump to say that Democrats are animals and disgusting freaks. Actually, on that animals point, Donald Trump yesterday referred to this alleged assailant as an animal himself. And so let's keep that in mind next time that Donald Trump says Nancy Pelosi or Jasmine Crockett or AOC, that they're an animal. He's lumping them in with alleged murderers. And so when you say that our description of Trump as a fascist is dangerous, when you put it into terms that AOC wanting you to be able to afford a home, or for our planet to not burn up in the next 40 years, or for you to have free health care in the wealthiest country in the world, if you equate that to the existential threat of murder, if both of these people are the same, both of them are animals, what does that say about the place that Trump is putting democratically elected members of Congress into? He's putting them in grave danger. And we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about that rhetoric. Again, I just find it laughable that these people who do nothing to keep us safe, and in fact, the opposite, who have torn up the FBI for their political gain, think that they get to tell us what's what. It's laughable. It is laughable, in fact, that they think that they get to tell us what's wrong with our rhetoric and what we need to fix, as they call us disgusting animals and dogs and whatever other word of the week it is for Donald Trump to attack Democrats with. And it really just more than anything maybe just reveals his weakness. And on this Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, by the way. If you're having me in your home today, I appreciate it. I'd like maybe a little, if you have some cornbread. If I'm going to be on the TV or on your phone, if I could steal a little cornbread. I know this is an important topic that we're discussing right now, but if you could send me a plate, maybe that'd be nice. But on this Thanksgiving, I think we have to recognize that for all of Donald Trump's threats and his radical, extreme lashing out recently, it represents his weakness. A weakness I said yesterday is something to put a smile on your face. And it certainly does for me right now. He is at the weakest point in his political career. At a point in which MAGA recognizes that Donald Trump is no longer the big scary bad guy. That a primary challenge is not the thing that you should fear most. That it is, in fact, us. Us. People willing to hold those accountable who are bought and paid for by corporations, who will go out and vote, who will go out in the millions and protest in the street in historic fashion. It is us that they have to worry about. And that they have to figure out what a future is without Donald Trump. An idea almost unimaginable to these people. Almost unimaginable. Donald Trump, 2 years ago, had such a grip on the Republican Party that they would hold debates without him for the presidency. Remember in those primaries, Donald Trump didn't even show up. He didn't even have to show up to the debates they held to see who would be the Republican nominee for president, and none of those people on stage could even crack like 10%. Remember when Nikki Haley was the only one on the ballot in like Arizona or Nevada? And she lost to like none? Like Nikki Haley lost to other option, not anyone on this ballot. She lost to no one. Like there's literally a box you could check for like, nah, I don't want any of these people. And Nikki Haley lost. That's the type of grip that Donald Trump had over the Republican Party 2 years ago. At the beginning of this year, they were saying he won a sweeping cultural mandate, that everything had shifted and changed. That is obviously not the case. I knew it was never the case. We know it's certainly not the case now, but they cannot push that lie. This Republican Party is weak. They are scrambling. They are fractured. It will never be the same again for Donald Trump. There is no going up from this. This is down. It is either a plateau of bad or further into the hole, as they only have more election losses on the horizon. That is what Donald Trump has to look forward to. Investigations from Democrats, resignations from Republicans, and brutal election losses. That is it. And so on this Thanksgiving, I am thankful that we have a coalition of people who are always fighting this administration, who are here to be engaged. I am thankful for you. I am thankful for this opportunity. I am thankful that last week, according to YouTube, this show was more watched than Tucker Carlson's. What up? And so we're going to keep on fighting with your support. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. Happy Thanksgiving. And until next time, which will be later today, I'll see you soon.